All right, y'all tell me when we're ready to roll. Everybody good? Awesome. Well, appreciate you guys being here today. It's kind of what signing days now become more of a signing celebration in February. But just a couple things about our class. You know, it is a big class. We lost over 30 this year off the roster to graduation and other things. So we got 38 new signees, 19 on the offensive side, 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, 5 wideouts, 7 O-linemen, 18 on the defensive side, 3 safeties, 3 corners, a nickel / corner, and then 3 linebackers and 8 defensive linemen and 1 long snapper. So we were almost perfect. We were 19 and 18 offense and defense. So we'll let the long snapper count for the defense. 18 total prospects from the state of Texas, 13 out of high school, 3 by way of transfer, 2 by way of Texas junior college. I think the coolest thing, 11 total signees are from the DFW area, the Dallas Metroplex, which is the most any team in the country signed out of the Dallas area. So that's a big deal for us since that's our home. We signed the school's first ever 5-star in Draymond Odoms. We had 1 5-star, 4 4-stars, and 18 3-stars. I mean, stars, you don't know if they're right or wrong for about 3 years, but I know that's what you guys keep up with, you know, on some of the recruiting services. Just specifics on who, you know, quarterback Ty Hawkins, originally from Johnson High School by way of IMG now. Played in the Army All-American game, threw a touchdown pass. He's already on campus. We're super excited about Ty and the fit and what we think he can do here. Tyler Van Dyke transferred in, history at Miami, was at Wisconsin, has been hurt, still recovering. It's a unique situation. Someone that we trust, he trusts us. He's going to help us win in a lot of ways this year while he rehabs. It remains to be seen when he'll be healthy, but he also, you know, came here to get healthy and be around people like Derek King and our staff and a lot of us. And once he's healthy, I think there's still time for him, maybe even in the following year. So we're excited Tyler's with us. At running back, really excited Jermaico Green, goes by Chunky out of Conroe High School, played also in the Army All-American game. He's a guy that we're hoping will come in and contribute early, like a lot of these guys. Transfer-wise, Chris Johnson, speedy athlete out of Miami, went to high school in Fort Lauderdale, can really run, can return kicks, can catch the ball, you know, so we're excited him. He's got multiple years as well. So added those guys to our backfield. The long snapper is Morgan Tribbett, coming from Colorado State, and he's got multiple years and will help fill that hole left with Will Benton moving on, who's done a great job for us. Receiver, excited about that. You know, we lost 4 receivers, brought in 5 receivers, 4 of them from Texas high schools. It was a great year for receivers. Carterius Brown from Arlington Seguin High School. We're excited about him. He'll show up this summer. Jalen Cooper out of Steele High School, also caught a touchdown pass in the Army All-American game. He's already on campus. Excited about him. Isaiah Robertson from Arlington High School. Super athletic, versatile guy, really good with the ball in his hands. And then Dalen Singleton from DeSoto High School, who's already on campus as well. So that's 4 freshmen that, and we're going to give them every opportunity to help us right away. And then recently, the only really true signee of today is Link Rhodes from Delta Community College out in California. We're really excited about him, some age, some experience. He's an explosive playmaker out on the perimeter. Tight end wise, we do have a lot returning at tight end, but we still brought in Miles Uter from Alabama, brother of Graham Uter on our football team, and then Devin Martin from Trinity Valley Community College, also originally from Mesquite. So excited to get those guys in here and continue to have those versatile tight end bodies. Offensive line-wise, we brought in 7, 4 high school, 3 transfers. From Texas, we already talked about Draymond Odoms, got his 5th star last week. Long athletic tackle, played in the Army All-American game out of Lamar High School. You know, we had we went and watched him play on a Friday night this year, and they ran a tunnel screen where the left tackle was supposed to go block the corner, and they're at about midfield. There was no corner there. The receiver caught it and ran for a 50-yard touchdown, and when they went into the end zone, Draymond was running right beside him. So he's pretty long and pretty athletic, and he's a guy that obviously is going to get an opportunity to help early. And then Devin Ferris out of Heights High School down in Houston. That's 2 Texas high school young men, both from the Houston area. Abel Hoopy played in the Under Armour All-American game from Hawaii. So we went out to Hawaii and got some dudes from the island to come play here at SMU. And they're really excited about Abel I think he's another guy who has a chance to help make an early impact. Drew Hill out of Centennial High School in Corona, California as well, rounds out the high school class. You get into the transfers. Addison Nichols coming from Arkansas, was their starting center entire last year. Got a really good chance to help us maybe step in where we've lost Ja'Kai Clark. Also Joshua Bates from Oklahoma can play center and or guard. So a lot of versatility with those guys on the inside. Zion Nelson from Miami, our last year there actually was playing at a really all-conference level, has had some knee injuries over the last several years, hoping to get healthy and have one last really good year. And if he's healthy, he's already proven he can be an all-ACC player. And then Sione Mao from New Zealand, probably didn't pronounce it exactly correctly, but he came by way of New Mexico Military Institute, and you'll see him. He's a big human. So we're excited about big humans. That rounds out the offensive side. Now you go to defense. Again, I said the D-line. Again, a little more probably transfer heavy this year again than we want to be. Like we had to last year, we want to continue to grow at all positions more into the Texas high school ranks. I think our success in being the ACC will allow us to do that. But when you do come on the high school side, Jalen Shivers out of Atlanta, Georgia, South Gwinnett High School, really good high school, really good edge player, defensive end. Remains to be seen where his body goes. He could play in. He could probably one day play inside. Think of an Elijah Roberts versatility. And then Tyron Winslow out of Louisiana, a big athletic D-tackle. Then you get into the transfer world. Terry Webb out of Ball High School, originally in Galveston, Texas, by way of Texas State University, an athletic three technique that we need when we're losing a lot of guys up front. Jeffrey Imba, he's French, he's from France, but he's coming to us from Purdue, and he's another big human. So hopefully that's a trend we keep talking about. Eric Taylor coming from Mississippi State at D-tackle. DeMarje Lewis coming from Purdue at D-tackle. And then another hometown kid, Trey Wilson out of Lakeview Centennial, transferring back from Baylor after just his sophomore season. So again, another guy who can play on the edge, has a lot of versatility. And then at Bandit end, Deshaun Warner out of Kansas, coming from Kansas, he's from Phoenix, Arizona, but he's transferring from Kansas. Long, athletic, pass rusher like a lot of the guys that we've had success with lately. Going to linebacker, Mark Ianachor. I think I said that right. I feel good about it. Mark is he's already on campus, long, athletic, physical, explosive linebacker that I think has a chance to be a really good player. Zakai Barker transferring to us from East Carolina, played a lot of ball for them there, kind of like Kobe Wilson did at Temple before he came here. And then Kyle Firm out of Citrus College, junior college out in California, long, athletic linebacker with 3 years. So, we're losing Kobe, we're losing Ahmad, and so those guys can hopefully come in and help the guys we already have on the roster with depth. Corner, excited about this, out of Anna High School, Zayden Gentry. Zayden is one of those guys who is long and was a really good lockdown corner in high school, along with Javion Holiday out of Duncanville High School. You get two local high school corners out of the Metroplex that have length, can run. We think that's a way over time to upgrade our position outside. And then Lamadrick Spencer, coming from Hutchinson Community College from Duncanville originally, Roderick Daniels' brother. So good bloodlines here at SMU. He's extremely versatile. He could start at nickel, he could start at corner. So it kind of remains to be seen where he'll best fit, but he's got a lot of length. They won a junior college national championship this year, so he's used to winning. And Marcellus Barnes Jr. transferring from Syracuse, another long, young corner with a lot of years. We're excited about Marcellus as well. So, we felt like our corners did develop. I thought a guy like Brandon Crossy did a great job this year, but he's gone. But I think Deuce Harmon, I think Smoke, they all got better as the year went on, but we need depth and we needed some assistance there, so those guys will come in and compete right away. And then closing it out, it's safety, Tyron Man Polly, so we have another man on our roster. Duncanville High School safety, another guy who should have a chance to contribute early. Elijah Pratt, by way of Mansfield, Texas, went to IMG, and then Sael Reyes from DeSoto High School. It's 3 original Metroplex safeties. On our defense, we play with 3 safeties. So it's a long list. And with that, any questions about them?
Having said all of that, Coach, are you happy, satisfied in your draft day? I mean, in your recruiting?
Draft day, I like that. I am. I'm excited about the class. I mean, it's on paper, it's the highest ranked class in the history of our school, top 30 class, or around 30, depending on what you look at, a top 5 class in the ACC. What I'm excited about is, though, I think a couple things. One, I think we got the right fits for us. I think we've, from a high school coming in standpoint, we've got a chance to bring in people that over time will help upgrade our roster, which is every year what you're trying to do, and that's not a cut to anybody on our roster, but I think they're guys that can compete to play and help us early, whether it's in the 2 deep rotation at their position or whether it's on special teams. And if they can do that as a freshman, then even if they don't start then, by their second year, you expect them to be key contributors. But we're going to throw all those guys in the fire. I think the second thing that stands out is a shift. When this group really is the group that we signed after the American Conference Championship. And they knew we were going to be in the ACC, but for the most part, a lot had committed before we actually ever played a game. And so these guys were the first class that we were able to recruit knowing we were going to go into the ACC, and I think you see the difference already where there's more high school players than transfers, which being in Dallas, being in Texas, now being in a top 3 football conference, like we should be able to do that. Now, it didn't hurt that we had a good year that they all stuck around, but the 26 class is the class that'll feel the bump from going undefeated in the ACC regular season and playing the college football playoff. So you hope that gives us even more momentum because that's how we want to build a sustainable foundation. You got to do high school and you got to do transfers in this day and age, and we're going to continue to do both. But we want to build our team with Texas high school players, starting first in Dallas and then through the rest of the state. And I think this is a good example of what it can become. And so excited about this group. Again, just, recruiting classes are great because they get a lot of expectation, and then it takes a year or two to find out, was it what you thought? But we're excited about the group because I think a lot of these guys are going to come in and help us either in the 2 deep or on teams. And I think it also just shows the trend we want to kind of go to year in, year out.
You mentioned the Dallas thing a couple times there. Can you just speak to how important that is for your program to build the fence around this area here?
It's huge. We talk about the state of Dallas around here all the time. That's our home state. Our home state is also Texas. We have the benefit of being in the best state in the country for high school football, but we're in Dallas, and when you're the only power conference team, the only Division I team within 30 miles of downtown Dallas, like that should be a huge advantage. And now that we're in a power conference and we've proven we belong and we've played in the college football playoff, you can already feel it in the 26 class. You're on a different caliber of player. This 25 class was a different caliber of player than we've in modern era ever been able to recruit. And like I said, 11 players from the Metroplex, that's a big deal to us, and that number may grow. But for us to sign the most players out of the Metroplex is a big deal for us in trending towards where we want to go. We want that inside-out approach, and Dallas is home, and so that's where it starts.
You said next year's class will be the first to really see the benefit of the success you had this year. But as you and your staff started to solidify this year's class and with an eye toward the future, did your first year in the ACC change the criteria that you all use when evaluating players that you want to bring into this program?
No, I don't think it might have tweaked it a little bit. I think it validated what we felt we needed to do. I mean, look, we felt like we needed to show we could compete this year. We went 8-0 in the league and 11-1 and made it to the championship game and then to the playoffs. So that helps get you a little bit ahead of schedule maybe. And it also probably helps you maybe be in it in the 26 class or the 27 class with a caliber of player that maybe had you gone 6-6, you might be a year or two away from, if we're being fair. So I think it validated that we can recruit with anybody on this level, and we have a lot to offer. It's cool to go to SMU. It's cool to come to SMU, and guys know that, they feel that, they've seen that. They've seen us on the big stage, and so I think that's a big deal that validates maybe what we want. And I think the other thing we confirmed is, we got to win everyone's got to have a great quarterback. That we're no different than everybody else. After that, we want to build it with the trenches, the O&D line. And while we did it last year a lot out of the portal and returning players, and this year to some degree a mix of both, we're blessed to be in Dallas and to be in Texas where if we go recruit the right kids out of high school, we can build a foundation that way with high school players. And we just, before this year, we weren't able to be in the conversation with the right caliber of player. So we had to almost go totally transfer. Now, I think that's changed. Now, it remains to be seen, can we do it and how sustainable is it? But I think that's the long-term foundation, is building up these kids both locally, and when I say local, I mean in the state, and then go fill your holes with the portal each year to try to just build the best team you can that year. But for sustainability for the future, I think we know the blueprint. Now we just got to do the blueprint a little bit better to keep playing longer.
What's the importance of continuity in a coaching staff to be able to put together a class like this?
Huge, I think. It's not vital, but it's pretty important. Coaching staffs are going to change, sometimes good, sometimes not. We've been blessed to not have a ton of turnover here, and when we have, it's guys getting good opportunities. At least as of today, it looks like we're going to stay intact. And I think it's big for two things, because now you're recruiting on two fronts. Yes, it's big on these high school relationships and kids staying with you, but it's also big on the retention piece internally, because, nowadays you could have a position coach or a coordinator leave, and no different than if a head coach leaves, that may influence people, because relationships still do matter once you're on a roster. So continuity is big. I'm excited to have Scott back on defense and that whole staff. What they've done the last 2 years, I think everybody would acknowledge, is why we've made the jump from being a team that can maybe score some points and be fun to watch to being a championship contender or a championship winning football team, because we play championship caliber defense now. And candidly also, also excited to have the offensive staff back, because we've continued to play good offensive football. So I think continuity is huge. And then I can't forget Sean Griswold, because we get a lot of credit for the culture and our guys being happy, and that's true, but a lot of that starts down there too. So as a coach, man, you're always happy when you can keep them intact, and so far we've done that, and I think that'll help us going into year 2 in the league.
Right, coaches talk so much about culture, depending on however they define it, but how has that been relative to why your portal numbers have been so low relative to other programs across college football?
That's a good question, because I think we're today and age in college football, we're like, just because 10 players leave a school doesn't mean there's a problem at that school, right? It's kind of the way of our game right now. But to your point, I saw the deal come out last week. I wouldn't have known it until it came out that we've had the fewest transfers in the country this year. I do think culture is important. I really think culture is really the quality of the standard that you are willing to accept. And so we have a very transparent, relational culture here. Our guys know we care about them. They know we'll be honest with them. That means we don't always tell them what they want to hear, but there's a transparency here that I think they appreciate. It doesn't hurt that we've won. You win 11 games back-to-back years, that helps. And after the first year, we were going into the ACC in a new building. So there's been some things that are positive. But to your point, this year we haven't had a lot leave. I think with the exception of Preston, which we're all for and excited that he gets to go be a starting quarterback again at a great program like Northwestern, we haven't had a guy leave in our 2 deep the last couple of years. That's a big deal, and I think our players deserve credit for creating that culture, creating that winning habit, that winning quality. I think our staff deserves credit, to your point about continuity. So, there's another portal window coming. I'm not sitting here thinking that we probably won't have somebody go, but it's big. I think what it proves is it's cool to go to SMU. It's cool to be at SMU. Our guys believe in what we're building here. They believe that we can win at an elite high level here, and otherwise they wouldn't stick around.
Is it kind of like a two-way street? You have our best, but we've got to get your best too, so that it can kind of coexist and flourish.
Yeah, we don't have an environment where we just do everything they want and give them everything they want so they stay, because that wouldn't long-term work. We have an environment where we're honest with them. We have real relationships with them. They know the coaches care about them. We're not perfect. They know that. We make mistakes. We try to own it when we do. We have a competitive culture. And again, I give a lot of credit to, I said we have 30 guys, I think, leave this year, about 11 seniors the year before, which wasn't as big a group, but you had the Elijah Chapmans of the world, the Tyler Levines of the world. Those 2 classes helped us form the culture. And really go back to our first year, we went 7-5. There were still remnants from that group that, even though we weren't competing for a championship, you build on it each year. And even in a transfer world where you change so much, 38 new guys coming in, that means there's about 50 guys that got to say, hey, this is how we do things here. And credit to our staff for bringing in the right guys who buy into what we're doing. And so we've got to fight to maintain it. We've got to fight to hold that together. and then try to do some things a little better so we don't get beat as quick. But no, I think it's a big deal, and that's going to continue to be what we try to build it on, because we're trying to be sustained, and I think authenticity and just being genuine is the only way to do it.
The skill positions on offense, wide receiver, you guys got a couple guys coming back, but some veterans leave.
Mm-hmm.
You look at running back, Burchard leaving. What's the balance as you kind of approach these highly touted guys that are coming in versus some of the returners, and just trying to figure out who can go right away and contribute early?
Yeah, we're going to play them if they're ready, and running back is one, and even I think in what we do, dependent receivers one that you can play earlier. We knew that coming into the year, we thought we were going to lose 5 of our top 6 receivers. Then Romello had the injury, and he was able to not play more than 4 games and get the year back. So we still lost 4. But that's why we were going out to sign a big class to begin with. And we told all 4 of those guys, to get 4 quality high school receivers like that to come, they got to see that many leaving and know that they're going to have a chance to compete to be in the rotation or in the 2 deep and on teams as true freshmen. And half of them are here now, half come in June. But we're going to give those guys a chance. And some of them may be ready right out of the gate. Some of them it may be week 4, week 6. And if someone's not ready till year 2, that's fine too. But we're going to throw them in there and see what they can do, because you have experience with Romello and Jordan Hudson. Going out and getting Link out of the junior college helps. So you have 3 older players, but you have those 4 guys, and let's talk about a guy like Randy Reese now going to get his opportunity. We have some youth movement kind of happening at those positions, and we got to be okay with that, and we got to understand that maybe in some areas we're going to upgrade on some athletic ability, and then there may be a learning curve, and we got to be willing to kind of help them grow through that development at the right pace. So I think we might have the right blend, and I'm not even talking about an R.J. Maryland, a Matt Hibner, and an Adam Moore. So we feel like we got good depth and weapons, but we're going to be young. And then running back, I don't know. Burchard set the school record for all-purpose yards, so to say you're going to replace that versatility, I don't know. I do think we saw flashes of what Derek McFall can do as a freshman. You give him a year, a spring and a summer, a winter, spring, and summer in a weight room, and now he's kind of tasted it, so the moment won't be too big for him. I see a lot of versatility in him, like you saw Burchard. You got a big back like LJ coming back, and then you couple that with a big high school player like Jermaico Green, who I think physically could play early. Now, does it all come together? We'll see. I've seen guys take a year, and I've seen guys like Michael Dyer be MVP of the national championship game. So, and then Chris Johnson with his speed and the transfer. We feel like we got 4 guys right there that can compete to help carry that load that we're losing.
And then you saw a lot of Dalen and Jalen Cooper in high school.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on those guys and going early.
I think all 4 of them have a real chance to help. Obviously, Dalen and Jalen being here early helps. They're already going through the workouts. Kevin took the guys out to throw today. Well, they were out there running routes. So it's a big deal when you get to start in January. And Carterius and Isaiah will come in into May and do the same. But it'll be big. We'll get a better idea now being able to have them here and go through spring. Like, where are they in that process? How ready could they be by August, September, or October, et cetera? So, we don't discourage guys even if they can't come mid-year, but when they do, it definitely helps you potentially play earlier as a young guy.
You mentioned it being cool to come to
Yeah.
SMU. How much are you personally loving building this? Into what
Yeah.
it's become now, back-to-back. This has to be a coach's dream to shape a program the way that you've been able to do it.
It's exciting. The opportunity we have here is unique, and it's special, and everybody doesn't get an opportunity to be at a place at a time like this. We're at a place in a city that's phenomenal, a university that supports us, and we can win. We proved it this year by making the playoff and what we did in year 1. And so, the building process is fun, especially when you feel like you have everybody committed to it and you have the resources you need to do it. So it's exciting. Now, on the flip side, you put a lot of pressure on yourself, but when you go 11 wins, everybody's going, so what are you going to do next? And it's really hard to have success like that. I think we're 22-6 in the last 2 years. I think someone told me that's top 5 winning percentage in the country, and great. It's also never been done here before. There's a reason. It's hard. It's hard to have success like that. It's really even harder to sustain that success. And so this team's going to have a different challenge than the last 2. 2 years ago it was, let's do something we haven't done in 40 years. This year it was new. We're going to the ACC. Now, we're probably not gonna be the favorite, right? But we're a little bit more of the hunted than just the hunter, and like, you're not gonna catch anybody off guard. Schedule's a little tougher. You know, I think we play all 4 of the top 5 teams in the league besides ourselves, which is great. So how do we handle that? You know, but that's part of the process, to your point. Like, we want to go back to the playoffs next year. We want to compete for a national championship again, but first we got to compete for an ACC championship again. But whether or not that happens next year doesn't derail the excitement of what we can build here. And we're here to build it for the long haul. We want to win next year. We want to win now. But if we're doing things today that help us maybe win a national championship in 2027 or 2028, then so be it. And it is fun. I mean, I'd be lying if I told you it wasn't exciting. It's fun to try to do stuff that's new, that's fresh, and hadn't been done before. And it is cool to go to a Senior Bowl or an East-West Shrine Bowl or go into high schools with, you know, the Mustang or Triple D or SMU on your shirt, and the reception's a little different. That's what I'm saying. It's cool to go to SMU.
Sorry you said this already, but is the plan for Tyler to sit out for this year?
Yeah, I think it's one of those perfect storm scenarios, because I know for a lot of people are probably like, what are they doing? They have Kevin. What is Todd? You know, he had his, so RJ Maryland and him are not too far off on the process in terms of when they had their injury and surgery. Like, I think he had his surgery in October, Tyler. I think he had his surgery in October. He had a little bit different injury, though. He had some other additive things to it. And so when you're looking at, you know, it kind of came up because obviously I coached Tyler. De'Aaron King played with Tyler. Half our staff here coached Tyler. So we love him to death and had a great relationship with him. And I don't want to totally speak for him, but it was like, man, I've got one more year left in this thing. And if you go somewhere, first of all, if someone doesn't know if you're going to be ready for the first start of the season or maybe at all next season, it's kind of hard for someone to want you to be their guy, right? But also, like, if so, it's not out of the question he could be ready, but like, now how much pressure is on you to be ready, and maybe it takes more time. So I think it shows a lot of maturity on his part, and I think it shows how much we care about guys that we know on our part, because he's willing to say, you know what, I want to go be with good people that I know and that I trust, and I want to get 100% healthy for whenever that time comes, whether it's if something happens this year or I'm not healthy till mid-year or end of the year and I'm not cleared so I can get the year back in play in 2026. I'm not being pushed, because, I mean, let's just be honest, he's got 1 year left whenever it happens in college. He's got to have a good year like he did early on in his career to go on to the next level. Like, you know, I know he was capable of and he believes he's capable of. So it's kind of that perfect storm, and I don't know if that answered it well. You know, medically, we'll just have to see if and when he gets cleared. But obviously, he didn't come here not knowing that Kevin Jennings is the starting quarterback here.
And are there conversations that you have with Kevin? Has Kevin kind of been kept in the loop in that?
Oh, yeah. We didn't do anything without talking to Kevin and Keldrick and Ty first. Absolutely. Like, we were very honest, because perceptually it looks like one thing. It's not. It is a unique situation, and like I said, at the end of the day, we're trying to help Tyler however that works out. And if one day that's here at SMU, great. If not, I can't tell you, like, that guy is a winner through and through. He's a leader. I've seen it. And so, shoot, he's going to be in that QB room, and already with the experience and stuff he has, he'll add a lot of value even if he's not playing.
When you look at potential transfers, how far do you and your staff go back? Do you go back and look at what they did in high school, or is your evaluation solely on what they did either at JUCO or their previous D1 school?
It's a really good question. It probably depends on the win. So if you got a guy like Trey Wilson, who's not been out of school as long, or Marcellus at corner, like, then we're probably going to look at both. And then if you have a guy like Addison Nichols, you're probably going to lean more on the college film because there's enough of it. Does that make sense? And so, plus you're seeing him play against SEC caliber players, so the kind of guys we're going to need to see him play against. So, you know, if a guy's only 1 or 2 year removed, we'll probably look at both. If he's doesn't have a lot of college film, we'll definitely look back at it. But if he's got enough college film and he's a couple years into it, then we'll probably lean mostly on the college film.
What's the atmosphere on the recruiting trail on the high school side of things, like with rev share and, you know, the combination between that and NIL and all the other things like?
There's a lot of unknown, shocker. Like, we all have an idea what's going to happen. Every school interprets that differently, but we all clearly know what we think is going to happen. And it'll be interesting to see how that affects the high school group, because this whole high school group is going to come in after the cap. There's none of this front load stuff that's going on with other schools, and and all that stuff right now for this group. So it'll be interesting to see if it works and if it really does settle things down and create a level playing field or not. So, you know, it's talked about, but we're so early, we're not early in the process, but like it's not May, June, it's not official visit time yet. And until you get past April 7th, there's still the unknown. We're planning for it to happen. I think a lot of other people are too. But it's been still more about recruiting. I mean, the whole month of January, I was able to go out, our staff was able to be in homes, and again, we're just on a different caliber of player. I mean, this last Saturday, our last junior day, was without question the biggest collection of high school talent ever at SMU on one day. Wasn't even close. And we're in it with all those guys. You know what I mean? And so all that stuff will take care of itself. We're fortunate to be in a position where we're competitive in that world.
And then Ty, just your thoughts on him, just as a player, and
Yeah.
obviously a big recruiting win too.
Yeah, what you love about him, you know, we took him off all his Johnson High School film out in San Antonio. The coaching staff there did a great job with him. And I mean, he's got a big arm. He's a big physical guy. You know, he's physically more put together than some of the other guys when they came out of high school and that we brought in here. And then he can also hurt you with his feet. And so when you start looking at stylistically, well, Kevin, Keldrick, Ty, like those guys, I'm not saying they're all the same, but you can build an offense to fit, okay, Kevin's our guy, but it also isn't that far off for the other guys. We're always going to build it around what the QB can do, but I think he fits. I think he fits guys we've had before. I think De'Aaron King's a great fit for him, and we're excited to get him here in spring too to see where he stands.
You mentioned guys
Last
like
question.
you mentioned guys like Odoms or maybe a couple of the receivers who will be given every chance to play early. It used to be that on a day like this, the coach would stand in front of this group and say, "We've recruited someone with the idea of being a red shirt and then playing 4 years." Is that whole concept ancient history at this point?
It is here, you know, and who knows if they end up making it 5 for 5 like it's rumored. I think it will happen. When, I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen this year or not. There's a lot of things to happen, but I think eventually that red shirt will just go away anyways. Probably needs to. It would make things easier on the programs. It would make things easier on the kids. Because now you don't have guys opting out because they can't play in a 5th game. It's like finish the season, you know, you get 5 years and play or don't play. But yeah, for us it does, because we shouldn't go out and recruit guys out of high school that we don't think can compete to be in our 2 deep day one and help us on teams day one. If so, then we may be settling and lowering our sights. So we're bringing guys in. It doesn't mean everybody's going to play or be in the road 2 deep as a true freshman. It doesn't. But we want them to come in and compete for it, and we have to think they have the ability to potentially do that. O-line, D-line are probably still the most development positions left, where there may be some that aren't, or even quarterback is only one can play. But that's what kids want anyways, so we better give them that opportunity. And that helps the competition on our team. That helps us make sure we're getting the best players. That's why kids want to come here too. They know they're going to be given that opportunity. If they're not, then, you know, maybe they won't come. And so, and then also the day and age with the transfer portal, like if you can't get a guy that's talented enough to come out of high school that should be able to compete to be in your 2 deep year one, then you probably should just wait and go get a transfer at that position, like instead of settling. And so that's as of today, now the game may change in a year. It's changed every year, but that's where it is. But that's our mentality of, yes, we want to get the best in Texas, the best in Dallas, but we want guys that want to compete early and we feel like can. That was our mentality with this class. Definitely going to be our mentality in the next class.